Hi friends, welcome to 5th grade class today. So before we start this class, I would like to ask a question. Let's see. So what do you want to build if you are a designer of your town? Any thought? Any thought?
I would want a zoo in my town.
Zoo? Okay. What about you, Mackenzie?
I would want an aquarium.
Aquarium? What about Christine?
A community center with a park and a pool.
Parking.
Wow. She's specific.
Okay, that's really interesting. That's really interesting ideas. So, okay, so what about the building you don't want to build in your town if you're living in
We
that
don't want to
society? What you don't want to build?
A jail.
Jail. Okay.
Criminals everywhere. I don't know. That's
like sanitary.
Okay. Are you saying like a dump?
I don't
Yeah,
want
dump.
to. Or a.
I don't want the garbage people, yeah.
Yeah, right?
Or a cemetery.
Cemetery.
Where do you put your dead people?
And the town over.
So
Thrown in the ocean.
So there are some lists that you want to build in your town, and then there are some buildings that you don't want to build, right? So what makes you that you want to build this one, and then what makes you don't want to build this one? Any idea? What makes you don't want to build this kind of things in your town?
Smells. Or
They're not fun to be around.
depressing.
Yeah.
Depressing,
Scary.
Yeah. So there are some specific vocabulary that's going to be called. And so we are going to talk about that one today. So there are some lists that I want to like kind of like know about before I give you that vocabulary, that terms. So can anyone guess what it is, and can anyone guess? Can anyone see the differences between the pictures?
A lot of construction.
A lot of constructions. What do you think about that one? What do you think that they are talking about from this picture?
Like the one, yeah.
Yeah. So they don't want to that one, right? And so we call this kind of terms is Nimbi. Nimbi means that like not in my backyard. So avoid anything that can bring like dangers or like make your society's values like kind of like become low. So we call Nimbi syndromes. And then like you said, zoos or parking lot or like aquariums can probably bring a lot of higher values, right? If you're gonna build in your town. So we call this one is like Pimby. Can anyone read this kind of definition for everybody?
Yeah, please in my backyard, wanting to have anything that can make their society's value become high.
Yeah. And so like you said, Nimbi and Pimbys are kind of one of the regional egoism. And so a lot of people like really want to take advantage or want to take, what is it called? Just only take advantage, because if you're gonna build this kind of things, your societies or your community is gonna be like, community's value is gonna be higher. And so it's kind of also one of the problems that we have these days. So can everybody understand so far?
Yes.
Any questions about that? All right. So let's just take time and think about what these syndromes will affect on us and others. So if you just only take advantage in your town, what something's gonna happen? Have you thought about it? Because I understand that everybody really just only want to take advantage, right? Nobody want to take inconvenience or like dangerous things in your town, like jail or cemetery or dump.
But I feel like they are, like, I know they're not things that maybe are the prettiest of things, but I feel like they are necessary in a town. So I feel like,
You just have to deal with
yeah,
it.
you kind of just have to take it, even if it is inconvenient.
Yeah, so true.
But to make your town prettier, you could totally like up the nice stuff, the Pimby stuff or whatever. Like have a zoo, have more aquariums, have more swimming pools. Like that will make people drawn to your city. I don't know. That's right.
So true. Yeah, I totally agree with that. Although we know that like jail and dump or cemeteries are really important things and then really needed to our society. Because think about it, if we don't have jail or dump or cemetery, at least if we don't have a dump, where are all trash is gonna go? And where whole our trash is gonna go, right?
A big old pile.
Yeah, it's gonna be everywhere, and then it's gonna like make our society super dirty, or even the earth's gonna be really dirty and ruined, right? That's why this kind of syndromes are really important things to know, and then really we need to remember about that so that we can deal with the world and we can deal with the society. That's why it's so important. And then yeah, let's turn up
We're good. Okay. Here you go.
Okay, so
Grace is my middle.
alright, so since we have kind of a lot of times, I just want to ask you a question, like, have you seen that kind of happening in your society?
Nimbi and Pimby.
Yeah, or any examples of it? Can anyone think of?
I know in my town, they only want things that fit, and they have the same design and stuff. And so a lot of, like if someone wanted to have an office building, it can't be a skyscraper or anything because they have laws that make it so it stays like a quaint small town. So that makes it so that we only have certain things in our town.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sometimes like, no, I mean like, I remember one thing that I had, that kind of have experience. So when I was young, my town was like, oh, what is that? So one of the person told us that we're gonna have a kind of like dump in our society. So like my mom also didn't like it, or everybody, all my neighbors didn't really like it. And so everybody just go out and then just said, oh, we don't want a cemetery, or like, we don't want a dump at all. Please take it out. We don't want it. Please just build it to another area so that we can like live in clean society, something like that. And so that person has to be deal with us. And so they said, okay, if you gonna accept that kind of things, we gonna like build a school in your society or like library so that your society, your town's value is gonna be a little bit higher. So it's a kind of deal. It's kind of like good deal. And then so all my neighbors gathered together and then discuss about it and then decided, okay, we're gonna take it. But you guys have to promise that you guys gonna like build a school or library for us. So sometimes they can deal with that like that. And so we can kind of overcome that kind of things. Yeah, question?
I was just connecting it to like here, how people don't want hotels.
Like the
Yeah,
Vision
like
YU
keep
thing.
the country sort of, and they don't want the big hotels here, but Hawaii runs on tourism, so you can only cut back at so much because we need it also. So it's kind of ruins it, but also it's a good.
Okay. Question?
Well, I just had that just made me think, or I guess all of this made me think about my best friend from back home. She lives in like a really nice community. Like there's only a few homes and they're all super nice and really big with a lot of land, all this stuff. And like her parents like design their own home and that's like their dream home and what they want to give their kids. Anyway, so and they've lived there their whole lives. And this past year or two, one of their neighbors decided that he was going to open his house and be like a halfway house and be like a rehab place for all these cons, or all these ex-cons, and it made the entire neighborhood's property value like plummet and drop super low, so everyone was super mad, and that it just makes me think like not in my backyard, like literally, like they didn't want that stuff in their backyard. And they only, because they had like horse stables and all these nice things, and then this like bad thing came in and they didn't want it, but they like couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah, this
But
is also one of the examples, right? That's good. Thank you for sharing. So before I finish it, do you guys have a piece of papers? Okay. So before that, I would like to like write down the definition of that and then think of one of the examples that you can kind of give, and then we can finish about that. So before you guys do that, do you have any question or idea? You guys kind of understand about that? Alright. Okay, so there is an earth, right? So that is totally right. This is impossible that we cannot take everything that we want, right? To live together. And so I would like to invite you to think about it carefully, what you learned today, and then what can you do if you become like kind of more like adult. Probably you're gonna deal with this kind of things a lot more than now. So hopefully I just really want you to think about it and then sincerely caring about that, because your society is not gonna be, so you're not gonna live by yourself in your society, right? And so I just really want you to finish about this kind of worksheet, and then if you cannot finish it,